Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have the Marvel Studios' first 10-year series from Marvel Legends Ultron. So this is like kind of the one last figure that they did. I'm hoping that they do continue the series, but at the moment this is the most recent one that was shown, but I was very excited to see it shown because it was a figure that was in desperate need of an update. I do think that it's in more... The original one is in more of a desperate need of an update than we actually got. We got an update in a really good place, but we do need more updates in my opinion. However, I am happy to get the figure because it is definitely substantially better than the original. I was able to pick this one up at Best Buy. That seems to be the location where this figure is starting to come out. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody find this anywhere else except for Best Buy. You can purchase it online. I think it's out of stock sometimes, but sometimes you can get it from online, especially if there's a store near you that has them in stock. You can check that. I was able to see that I had a store close to me that was in stock. They said they had two. They brought one out from the back for me because it wasn't actually on the floor, and there was a huge issue with it. This complete side wasn't painted red at all, so I had to have them go find the other one. They had a lot of trouble finding the other one. It ended up being an online order that somebody canceled, and therefore there was a sticker on it that they like ripped off, and then the package, which is in really bad shape, but the figure was painted well. So I decided to go with that one, even though the package was definitely banged up. So as you can see, it's cracked and crinkled. I had to really push this in to get it to stand. It's all bent from the side there, and it had the sticker on it. But I wanted the figure out of the package, so that was of course my primary concern, and the figure out of the package is in great shape, which is very important. So I am going to do a little bit of a review on this guy. However, the main thing I'm going to do here is a comparison, because that's what you guys all want to know. Everybody knows how this figure actually is, considering it's been out for so long. It was originally released in the Ant-Man wave in 2015 as the Build-A-Figure, which works well, because although in like the Avengers Age of Ultron waves, he would have been better suited as the Build-A-Figure, he still works in the Ant-Man wave, because obviously it is still an MCU character, and in the comics Ant-Man did create Ultron, so it worked out pretty nicely, and the Ant-Man wave kind of was able to be like sort of an extension of the Avengers Age of Ultron line. But the figure itself, I'm pretty okay with that. I like the height. I think it's quite nice. The bulk is pretty good. I like his proportions. My issue is some of the things, like his fingers. I don't like the fingers. They're way too small and skinny, and they're rounded. I wish that they looked more mechanical. I wish that they were a little longer, and although I enjoy somewhat of like him shooting a laser, he doesn't come with any blast effects or anything, so I would rather just had his hands open more and not so like crunched up, or had him have fists. I think that would have been nice too, because he looks a little odd with the fingers. The hands and the fingers are something that I've never really liked at all. The head sculpt I have always been a fan of, though. I do like the head sculpt quite a bit. I think they did it nicely. An open mouth or an opening jaw would have definitely been nice, so that would have been a great addition. And then he does have some good detail as far as the texture is concerned in his torso. It looks pretty nice. On the back, some nice texture, and then the feet are overall quite nice, although they do just the way that the knees are a little bit more flimsy than I would have liked. I would like them to be a little more stable, because when you stand him up, he's like slightly off. It's almost like this leg is slightly shorter than this leg, which is extremely annoying, and it makes it just kind of harder for him to stand properly, and makes it a little weird for him, which is definitely quite a shame. As far as the paint's concerned, because that's the big one here. Here's the original compared with the new one. As you can see, the original one from the front has kind of a nice silver, and it has some minimal red detailing. The silver is very nice on the original one. I do like it. The issue is it's silver mixed with like a plain gray, and like as you can see, the arms kind of go into that plain gray. The section right here is a plain gray. As you go down, the knee joints are a plain gray, and then the feet are a plain gray. It just looks awful. So like you have a really nice silver, but it's just mixed with this awful color. I mean, I get like if they want to do some variation, they do some variation in the silver, but to do silver against gray and a dark gray too, not even like a light gray, is just odd, and it looks really strange, which is definitely a shame. The new one, of course, is much better. As you can see, they've gone with a shiny silver throughout the entire thing, but it kind of has this like almost bluish pearlescent kind of shimmer to it, which I think looks really nice. And you know, I don't know if I was like doing a custom, I would not have gone with that, but I actually think it looks really good, and it does represent him from the movie quite well. well, I think. They've also increased the amount of red detail on him. First of all, they've made the red darker. It's not as bright as on this one. It's more of a darker red, and they've added in more places. They have the lines on the thighs. They have these extra little spots on the arms. They have them like in between all the little pieces of texture right here, which in the actual movie there shouldn't be anything there. It should be like empty space. You should be able to look right through them actually. But they obviously didn't do that with the figure. So I do like the red in there to kind of represent lights. It almost makes it look like you can see the separation points, which is nice. I do like that. They've had a lot of detailing in the line work there and on the torso, and then on the head sculpt there is quite a bit of detail. I'll actually get a little bit of a closer view on that, just so you can see the head sculpts together. Yeah, I think you have a lot more detail on the new one with the red, which does look cool. Like, like he doesn't have that much red on his face, I think, in the movie, but I do think that it still looks nice. I think it does look cool. And then comparing the backs of the figure, this is one of the most atrocious things I've ever seen, but the paint on the front is bad enough that you have a mixture of silver and gray. It just looks odd. But on the back, they just didn't paint it at all. They literally, like, even the pieces that are silver on the front, just you go to the back and then they're not. They're plain gray on the back. This is one of the cheapest and poorly made Hasbro figures I've ever seen. I think, that year when I did the ranking of my worst figures of the year, he was definitely on it, if not, like, #1. But yeah, really disappointed with that, and it's ridiculous. Now, this new one obviously fixes that for the most part. It's completely, it's the same nice shade of silver and with that pearlescent blue on the back as it is on the front. There's no red detailing on the back. I don't know if that was, like, intentional, if there shouldn't be any red on him. I feel like there should be a bit of red on his back, but I don't really see a spot where I would say this is a perfect place to put red. I mean, maybe like in here in like these little pockets where there's like that empty space, the red could have looked nice there, but overall I can't say like a definitive spot where it would have been 100% necessary. So I am okay with what they did on the back. So paint-wise, they made this guy perfect. I mean, this figure was lacking so much in paint, and they completely fixed that, which is great. I am very happy about that. But again, the figure itself is lacking, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the way that the legs were sculpted and how he's kind of unbalanced. I don't like the fingers, the hands in general. I don't like it all. And then articulation is okay. Going over articulation, he has a bulge on a head which can look up and down quite nicely. He's got ball hinge shoulders with the bicep swivel, double hinge elbows, hinge swivel wrists. He's got an ab cruncher can go forward this far and can go back an extreme amount, which is great. He has a swivel at the waist. His ball jointed hips, which suck. I mean, they can go up like this far, not very far at all. They really can't go out very much. And like when you bend them, if you're really trying to push it and you bend it, you can leave like little marks in his thigh from where it's rubbing up against this piece, which is definitely a huge issue. He has double hinge knees and then hinge pivoting ankles, but the pivot is very hindered by the little these little like plates by the ankles that really go out very far. It really hinders the ankle articulation. So overall, this is not, I mean, just figure-wise in general, it is definitely an update. It totally is. If you skipped out on the first one, and you always wanted an Ultron figure, or you just couldn't, complete the Build-A-Figure, then this is nice for you, because it obviously gives you the opportunity to get a Build-A-Figure without actually having to buy all the figures. And paint-wise, it is an excellent update, but the figure itself is definitely lacking. I think that there's so much more that they could have done with it. And Ultron, as a character, I know that a lot of people don't like him. I do like him, though. I think that he could have been better, but I liked him in the movie. So I would have liked to see this figure have been even better, and had they updated it a little bit more. I think the best thing that they could have done was to do an Ultimate Ultron. This is obviously an Ultron Prime design, from the majority of the movie. It's the end battle that he's like the Ultimate Ultron, where he has the upgraded look, where he has an extra face plate on his face. He has he has a new torso piece. He has an extra piece on the forearm of his left arm. He has extended fingers, things like that. The legs are very similar though. But like they could have done some things to update it, like give us a new head, new torso, and new left arm with the updated pieces, left the other stuff, and repainted it. Then this would have been a fantastic figure. But as it stands, I mean, it's the same figure, just with better paint, and necessary better paint, but there is some necessary extra sculpting that I think would have helped this figure a lot, and better thigh articulation. I mean, just to cut back on the crotch piece here to open up the thigh articulation would have been a lot better too. So overall, an update that's needed, but it's not complete now. It's much better, but it still has definitely more room to grow. But overall, I do love the paint. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this new figure from the Marvel first 10 years studio line, and if you'd like to see this line continue. Personally, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I feel like they're doing a lot more repaints than they should. They are doing a few new sculpts, which is great, but I would like to see them do even more new sculpts and not just repaints, or at least take the repaints and do kind of what they did with Thanos, where they gave you 2 extra head sculpts and a new hand, but then just repainted the rest. So it was a repaint with some minimal extra sculpting. That's the best thing to do if you're not going to do a full new sculpt, in my opinion. So yeah, so there you go. That's my thought on this new Marvel Studios Ultron figure. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.